Yo, what's up, guys? This is Retronic Ice Cat. You're on the Real News Talk channel. Yeah. Uh, some of you guys may not know, some of you may know already, that on February 19th, 2023, Sonya Deville was arrested for possession of a firearm in her home state of New Jersey that somebody spotted in her vehicle, and they called the cops. The cops came and arrested her for possession of a firearm. Basically, her gun was registered in the state of Florida, and the gun happened to be in New Jersey, and she doesn't have a permit in New Jersey. So the gun's not registered in New Jersey, it's registered in the state of Florida. And that's where the issue is. Now, I cannot blame Sonya Deville for carrying a firearm to defend herself, because like I said in my previous video, if you go back to the video I did about a fan threatening to kill Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara, and I said that these wrestlers need to start arming themselves, start carrying firearms to protect themselves, because you just never know who's watching you out there, who's preying on your downfall, planning to do harm to you, or even worse. Home defense weapon, open carry, depending on what state you're in. I know in the South, open carry is a big thing in the South. But up north, especially in the East Coast in particular, it's a bit of an issue because there's a lot of gun restrictions in the East Coast, especially New York, Massachusetts, and New Jersey as well. You can't just own a gun like that. And they're very, very strict on that, unless you have a valid license, meaning a home defense weapon in the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken. But in other states, most especially the South, and in California as well, you can own a gun, home defense or open carry. So it's not that hard to get a gun in other states, but in the East Coast, they're very, very strict. They're super strict. It's like in the East Coast, they don't want you to defend yourself. It's like they want something to happen to you before they deal with the situation. Now, fuck that, man. Because at the end of the day, the police are not superheroes at the end of the day. They only come to the scene when the damage has already been done. They only come to clean up the scene. They don't come to rescue people. It's like, what do you expect? A person is not allowed to defend themselves no more, because self-defense is a tricky thing to actually come by in the court of law, because in order to actually be successful in such cases, let's say if a person kills someone in self-defense, right, and he gets taken to the court and the judge come to a decision, sometimes it's not always successful. Sometimes the person, the defender, right, ends up being found guilty of manslaughter or whatever the case may be. And that's the type of society that we live in today. You know what I'm saying? It's like if a girl gets raped, right? If a girl gets raped and the guy that's raping her, right, he gets killed by the girl in self-defense. Whether she hits him over the head with something or manages to grab a gun that's near her, you know, in rare cases, and shoots him, and the predator dies. What do you have to say then? What, do you need video proof to prove that she killed the guy in self-defense? Because that's how it is in society. It's like, in order for self-defense to be successful, right, depending on if there's eyewitnesses, because you either need witnesses or video evidence. evidence to prove that you killed someone in self-defense. You didn't murder the person, because murder and killing someone are two different things. Murder is when you intentionally kill someone. But killing someone is more of like a survival type of thing, you know what I mean? And that's the tricky thing about it. And these judges, they're very, very, dodgy when it comes to them type of things. So it's very, very hard to claim self-defense if you don't have any backing. I mean, the only other way for self-defense to be successful is if the person has scars or bruises on their body, and they can detect any body fluid from the perpetrator onto the person, onto the victim. Then they could potentially claim self-defense. And there's a good chance of it being successful. But other than that, without any evidence, it's a very, very sticky situation to call. Whether the person gets found guilty or whether they get away with killing the person in self-defense, of course. And with Sonya Deville now carrying a firearm with her, it's highly understandable. I'm 100% behind Daria Berenato, the person, keeping herself armed at all times, because after that frightening experience that she went through in 2020 with that home invader who's now in prison, and he ain't coming out, he's going to be in there for a long, long time. After that situation took place 2.5 years ago, that has made her aware. That shook her up to the point where she has to have a firearm on her, just in case anything like this happens again. Because prevention is better than cure. It's better to be safe than sorry, you know what I'm saying? Because let's just say if the alarm didn't go off in her house during that time, and the intruder was successful in kidnapping Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, who was the guest in her house during that time. Maybe both of them, or either both of them, most especially Sonya Deville, will not be here today. Just look what happened in 1989 with Rebecca Schaefer, when a fan was obsessed with her for over 3 years, to the point where he managed to get her address and take a bus, the Greyhound bus, from Tucson, Arizona, all the way to Los Angeles, California, where Rebecca Schaefer was staying at the time, and she was getting ready to go for an audition for a role in the movie Godfather Part 3. She was waiting for a script to be delivered to her door, and then instead this sick fanatic came and shot her in the chest, cold blood, named Robert John Bardo, who's currently serving a life sentence without parole. And I hope he rots in there. Rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? And Sonya Deville could have suffered the same fate. But the thing that saved her was the alarm that went off in her house. And this fan, just like Robert Bardo, was obsessed with Sonya Deville for a long, long time, writing creepy messages on Twitter. It's just mad. You have to protect yourself in this day and age. We live in a wicked world. We live in a very, very evil, demonic world out there. I don't see anything wrong with Sonya Deville carrying a firearm. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe she, she's just so, she's alert. She's just so alert of protecting herself that she forgot that you cannot own a gun without a registered permit in a particular state, especially in a state like New Jersey. Maybe she forgot about that because she wants to protect herself. She's not taking any chances everywhere she goes because she knows that there's somebody out there who could be luring her, you know? And I encourage every wrestler to arm themselves, male and female, most especially the females, because, you know what I mean? Men have a habit of taking advantage of women, you know? I know Sonya Deville is an MMA fighter and she has the capability of defending herself, but when a person has a weapon, a deadly weapon, that they want to use against you, no matter what type of martial arts you know or what type of skill you may know, you cannot defeat a bullet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 100% behind Sonya Deville, and she has a court case coming up later this month apparently. So I just hope that everything goes well in her court proceedings and they can understand why she has the gun on her. I know WWE, they're aware of it and they understand 100% that Sonya Deville has a gun for personal reasons, especially what happened to her in 2020, and the WWE respectfully gave her time off to actually recuperate and get herself back on track, you know, because it's not easy to overcome such things, you know what I'm saying, because it can haunt you for a very long time. I just hope and pray that everything works out for Daria Berenato and things don't turn out for the worst, you know what I'm saying. So that's all I gotta say. This is Electronic Eyes Cat on the Real News Talk channel. Let me know what you think of the situation. Just leave a comment down below. Peace.